it's Doris with all the books, and today I thought I would bring a quick wrap up of my 30 books in 30 and a half days. Just, what kind of books they were and my thoughts on the little project maybe, and the fact that I'm going to do it again soon and I want to do better. Yeah. So anyway, I think I'm going to give you all my cheating tips. That's probably what you could call this. How to cheat at 30 books in 30 days, sort of. Anyway, so first off, these 4 books were in progress when the month started. So, The Sport of Kings and The Mare, both of those were in progress. And why I was reading 2 horse books at the same time, I don't really know. That's interesting. I also was in progress with White Trash, and I was very thrilled to finally have the motivation to finish it because this was into the 3rd month of hanging around on my nightstand. Very happy to finish that one. And I also had this one started, not exactly, this was one of the ones that has been laying around my house for decades, half read. So I just started wherever it was that I had left off before and finished this one. So those 4 were started before the month began, and I finished them fairly. 3 of them I finished pretty quickly in the month. The Sport of Kings lingered to the end. I think I had barely started that one and I was afraid that I wouldn't finish it, so I didn't want to invest a lot of time in it in case I couldn't make it. Okay, and then the next trick that you have to do is audiobooks. And I get my audiobooks from the public library, the Nashville Public Library, and they have an excellent selection. Sometimes you have to wait for the popular ones. I mean, always you have to wait for the popular ones, but it's a great place to get free books. And I think a lot of public libraries, like if your local public library doesn't have a good audio selection, a lot of the bigger libraries in your state will let you buy a membership, which I think is probably a lot cheaper than buying the books individually. Yeah. And what else? It's Overdrive app, and I just listen to them on my phone. And I don't listen to audiobooks a lot on a weekly basis. I really love to listen to them when I'm traveling long distance, and sometimes I'll get one going, but I tend to listen to audiobooks in the car mostly, and sometimes I just want the downtime of just random thoughts and background music, because I do have to try to pay attention to audiobooks. But like I said, for this month I really concentrated on audiobooks in the car because I needed that to get my numbers up. And I budgeted 4 books for the month, so 1 a week. I listened to Cormac McCarthy's The Road, The Dress Lodger by Sherry Holman, The Language of Flowers by Vanessa Diffenbaugh, and Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobbs, which I don't own a physical copy of that one. And that one actually had started prior to the month as well, and finished it when the month started. So, and like I said, I was listening to them in the car mainly, but I did, in order to finish them each week, I had to listen sometimes in the shower and mowing the lawn and weeding the garden, washing dishes, things like that. So I really had to budget my time, and toward the end of the week I would go, oh, I've got X amount of hours left, I need to step up the pace and listen to it in other places. And I did learn, like this one, I really liked it as an audiobook. I think I did better with this as an audiobook because I tried to read it physically a few years ago and didn't make it. This one was fine as an audiobook. Robin Hobbs was great. This one, But anyway, so audiobooks, that's a good trick. So we got finish what we started, audiobooks, keep a short story collection going. This was lovely to start at the beginning of the month and try to read a short story a night, and that was 1 book that you knew by the end of the month that you'd have another one in the bank. And then there were several times where I got caught like getting behind and I need to step up the pace. So short books to the rescue. And I wish I could have read longer books, and I will soon. But I was working full time and still trying to get all this reading in. So I'm pretty pleased with what I managed to accomplish. So I read a short poem collection. That was quickie. I read a middle grades novel. This went super fast. I read it in probably a couple of hours one evening. And this is a young adult light romance, another quickie. This took me a few more hours, but it was quick. It wasn't very long. And then this was a really short, probably a novella, I would say. And I read this one paired with this full-length book, so that was a nice mix there. And this was the week I was looking for what can I read, what is short. I grabbed Swallowing Mercury by Wheeletta Gregg, which was a Man Booker long list, and The Vegetarian by Han Kang. So this won the Man Booker International, maybe last year or the year before, I can't remember, but those were teeny weeny. So that was a quickie, and then I got super duper behind the last 10 days. So I tried to budget myself in 10-day increments. So after the first 10 days, I had 7 books down. After the second 10 days, I got another 7 books down for 14. So the last 10 days, I was really behind. I had 16 books to crank out. So, and then I divided that 10 days into 5. So in the 5-day span, I cranked out 8. So that left 8 for the last 5 days, like that. So in that next to the last segment, the first 5-day segment, I grabbed my secret weapon, which was this set of plays that I borrowed from my high school book room. So, and I read these in chronological order. They're historical plays, modern fiction, I guess you would say. A Doll's House by Ibsen. Pygmalion by George Bernard Shaw. A Streetcar Named Desire by Tennessee Williams. Arthur Miller, Death of a Salesman. And A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. And I was really glad that, like, these probably would have stayed on my shelf for months, a year or 2 years, I don't know. Because they're not something that I was like, ooh, let me read those old plays on my shelf. But it was more exciting because of the challenge. And so I was like, oh, those will save me. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading them chronologically. It was very interesting to see how society progresses through literature. I enjoyed that a lot. And I also read another play, so 6 plays this past month. I read The Tempest, and that one was paired with Hagseed by Margaret Atwood. So that was a really neat combination. And then I read my graphic novels. So I read Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. I Was the Cat by Benjamin Dewey. And Cheese, Sweet Home, Part 1 by Konami Kanata. And I am not a big graphic novel reader, but I discovered this month that I really like historical graphic novels. So I've got a list of a few that I want to read, and I'm going to keep my eyes. Like March from the Civil Rights Movement, there's at least 3 of those. Those are at one of my high school libraries, so I will probably, I don't know if I'll read them this month or I'll have to wait till next fall because school's out in 2.5 weeks, you know. I'm bragging. So, and then Moss, I really want to read Moss, and I think I can find those at a used bookstore, so I'm going to keep my eyes open. And then I want to get the second Persepolis. So this one is when she's a child, and I want to get the one where she's grown up and returns to Iran to visit. And then Brown Girl Reading recommended another book that is similar to Persepolis, and I don't remember the title, but anyway, you'll see it in a upcoming, because I think I'm going to order those, because she said she really, really liked them. So now I've discovered through 30 Books in 30 Days that I'm totally into historical graphic novels. So yay. And then I got desperate. Like I said, I had 8 books to finish in 5 days. And then the last day I had something ridiculous, like still 6 books to finish or something. So I did read these 2 tiny itty bitty little children's books that I had from my childhood. And one of them is fairy tales and one of them is poems, and it was just sweet. So you do what you gotta do, right? So, and then I did have these other 2 random full length, and I chose these as I was reading because I knew they'd be faster reads, just because of the, I don't know, the storyline. You know, some books are, like The Sport of Kings and The Mirror were not fast reads, but these 2 I knew were fast reads, and that's why I picked them up when I did. So, those are all my tips for getting through 30 books in 30 days. So, finish what you've started. Audiobooks, fast reads, graphic novels, children's literature, middle grades, young adult, novellas, plays. Do what you can, man. But, you know, I had a blast. So, anyway, thanks for watching, and I'm going to do it again in June. I'm going to read 30 books in 30 days in June because I'll be off school. And I'm going to try to, I haven't determined how I'm going to do it yet, but I'm going to try to up my page number average. So I'd like to maybe average 300 page books. We'll see. We'll see. I got a month to think about my game plan and how I'm going to play the game in June. But in June, 30 books in 30 days again. And I'm going to do it because I'm going to be off school. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.